Hey, Flosstube, Sean here. Back with Flosstube number 16, third week in a row that I've done this, so yay. I'm starting to get a little bit more, hopefully, consistent with it, and it's kind of working out for me to film Thursday after work, after I get dinner made, so hopefully that'll be able to keep up. So I've got 11 projects to go through that I've got some progress on. I'm stitching a lot right now, just a lot. Like I'm not spending much time doing. I mean, I have TV and YouTube and stuff going while I stitch, but sorry, I have a cat pawing my elbow. Yes. I want to thank you all for the very positive response I got to my question about adding book and movie content at the end of the Flosstube videos. Pretty much everybody was all for it, so I'm pretty sure that is the way I'm going to proceed, starting with this video. I'm gonna go through the WIPs, new starts, any haul, which is not much right now. And then I'm going to talk about books and movies. And then if you're not interested in the books and movie content, then thank you for tuning into the Flosstube content, and I'll see you I'll see you the next on the next Flosstube video. But for anybody who wants to stick around for the book and movie content, I've definitely got movie content today. I haven't been reading a ton, but I am gonna do something I think that is kind of exciting that I saw somebody do, and I'm kind of stealing it. To talk about some movies that I've seen this year. But let's get into the WIPs. Like I said, I've got progress on 11 things to show, and like I said, like I said last week, a lot of that is due to Arbitrary August, because I'm doing a wheel spin every day and putting a minimum of 100 stitches in on a wheel spin every day before I move on to anything else. So let's just get into it. I did put some more work into the Universal Monsters Sal. Here's where it was the last time you saw it. And here's what it looks like now. Not a ton, just filled in some black, more black down there, and started to go up and around that window. So that's where I'm at with that. I think I did a couple of strains of black. Next, I have them all lined up in a pile here, and I need to not look at my OneNote and look at the pile and see what's next in the pile, because I didn't put the pile in the order that they are in the OneNote. So next is Fly Away. Here is what it looked like the last time you saw it. This is artwork by Jessica Lane, Heaven and Earth Designs. Here's what it'll look like when it's finished. Back. And here is where it's at now. I only put maybe 100, 150 stitches in, just right up in this corner here. I don't remember what day this popped up, but I think there was something else I really wanted to work on that day, so I got like kind of the minimum in for the Arbitrary August spin, and then I moved on to something else. Next on the pile is Castle Wolves. And here is where it was at the last time you saw it. Here's what it'll look like when it's finished. That tint change is so weird when I put the tablet up. I don't get it. And here is where it's at now. Again, only about maybe 100, a little over 100 stitches just into this area right here. So that's where I'm at with Castle Wolves. That, I should have said, is artwork by Jan Patrick. I can't read. I gotta pull up the PDF. Jan Patrick Krasny. I have it in Art Designs. Next is my Audrey Hepburn piece. I haven't shown this in a couple of videos. I had to go back a couple of videos to get the before picture of this. So here's what it looked like the last time you saw it. And I'm keeping this in the Q snap because I'm just going to show the area I worked on. Here, I forget the order. Here is the mock-up. This is her in the window singing Moon River and Breakfast at Tiffany's. And here is the progress I've made. Quite a bit of progress in this area right here. I just started going on that diagonal into the next page, and I think that's how I'm going to keep going with that. I'm kind of changing up that diagonal a little bit, I think, because I am seeing a little bit of lineage even as I look at this in the camera, and I was noticing it on something else. So I'm still going to work that way, but I'm going to feather in more into the diagonal below it. So I'm going to mostly work in that, but not keep it strict. Just because I like working that way, but I'm going to do it in a more cross-country fashion. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm not going to hold strict to. It's hard to explain, but basically I'm going to cross-country, and unfortunately this is a lot of the same color, so this was pretty solid blocks of the same color, and that is easier to do just in a 10 by 10 grid, but yeah, I'll figure it out. Next is It's About Time. Artwork by Cyril Marchetti, Heaven Art Designs. Here's what it looked like the last time you saw it. I think most people know what this looks like, but here's what it'll look like when it's finished. And here it is now. I got that whole circle filled in for the most part, just a couple outlying stitches on the edge, and I just kind of started going down this way. So yeah, I'm getting close to the page finish finally on this. I've only been working on this for 2.5 years, so I suppose I should finally finish that page out. The thing is, if I took the amount of stitches I did over into this next page and put them down here on this page, I probably would have the page finish. Hi, Alex. Yes, I called him Ox. His name is Oliver. We call him Ollie or Ollie Ox. Gets shortened to Ox. You never call your cats by their given name. Next is Mini Night Cafe. Most of these are Arbitrary August spins. So if you're following my Instagram, you see those anyway. So here's where it was at the last time you saw it. This one always takes me a minute to find in Pattern Keeper. And I passed it. I don't know why this one takes me so long to find in Pattern Keeper, but you know, just keep looking at my past progress, which is not much, and I'll find it eventually. Jeez, where is that? Oh, there it is. Okay, here's what it'll look like when it's finished. And here is where I'm at now. I just put probably barely 100 stitches in here. I put it in an Instagram post. I had a horrible migraine while I was working on this, and I just couldn't focus on it. And actually, the colors were kind of hurting. Those bright colors that I was working on were kind of hurting. So I only put about 100 stitches into that. But at least I got my minimum on that. I think it was like 107 or something. Next is Gallery of Learning, and here's what it looked like the last time you saw it. I guess I should find this in here. Here is the mock-up. And actually made quite a bit of progress on this. I was enjoying working on this. This was an Arbitrary August poll and so was Audrey. Audrey was an Arbitrary August poll that I just kept working on that day. So here's where it is now. You can really see this column coming in, or this archway coming in, and then this archway coming in, and you can start to see the bottoms of the support arches there. And yeah, so what I was doing was working that top left to bottom right diagonal kind of into the next page, kind of like I talked about in the last video that I might do with this, and creating the page feathering that way. Now this one I really don't see much line issues with, so I don't know, I guess it's a crapshoot. Maybe I can see a little something there, I don't know. But I'm figuring that out. I'm figuring out a way to work in that kind of diagonal, that from top left to bottom right, but feather into the other page, other diagonal, kind of do some cross country with it. I'll kind of show you. I'll be able to show you a bit more what I'm talking about with the next one, because I was playing with it a little bit. So the next one is Mystique. And here's where it was the last time you saw it. Which way to go with this one? Here is what it looked like when it's finished. This is artwork by Amy Brown. And here is the progress I made. So here's kind of what I'm talking about. Now, where I had seen an issue was I could see a definite shift there, which is weird because this I didn't do this little corner and then go down in here. I went right into that. But I think the way the colors worked out, it created that. And then I could see it a little bit there and where it met this one. So what I started doing is I just started doing 38. This is all 3864 here. So I just started working in a diagonal and just filling in 3864. And that's all I was doing was 3864 because it's got the most colors. So I was playing, this one I'm starting to play with kind of what the most colors is on the page and as much color completion of that as I can, but still working in that diagonal, and then I'll fill in working in that diagonal because I really like working in that diagonal. I've been saying that a lot in videos, in that diagonal. But I just, like I said, I'm finding I'm stitching faster, working in a left to right fashion that way. And I used to, and I may start going back to this a little bit, and I was kind of playing with it today, of kind of going by symbol from left to right and working cross country just by symbol left to right, and a strand of one symbol, take it as far as I can take it, then move on to the next symbol in a row. I used to play with that some too. So I think I'm going to get into kind of a combination of that. Really, it's whatever I feel like doing on the day on the day that on the day or time I'm stitching it. Sometimes I feel like playing around. So next is today's Arbitrary August poll. So this will be my Instagram post this morning as this video is going up. And this is Disintegration, which was a freebie. Still is, I believe, a freebie on Heaven and Earth Design's website. Artwork is by Stephanie Puiman Law, whose artwork is just fantastic. Here, I was about to say here's what it looked like last time I saw it. I couldn't find what video I last showed this in, so I don't have the previous, but I will now after today. But here's what it looks like when it's done. And here is where I'm at with it. What I did is I had, and you can kind of see what I'm talking about. You can see that I was working top left to bottom right, but I was doing it in a kind of cross-country fashion. So when I finished the color in one diagonal, I just moved over to the next diagonal and continued working it. But I had a bunch of park threads still in this one, and I don't like parking, so I still had park threads to deal with in this one. So I just took care of all the park threads. Ended up being, I can tell you because I worked on it today, still kind of slow at work. 288 stitches. So that was today's Arbitrary August poll. And then I got done with that, and I wanted to switch because I wanted something a little darker. And so I pulled out the Hanged Tree, which is artwork by Chris Ortega. Here's where it was the last time you saw it. Here's what it looks like when it's done. And here is where it's at. And that's where I started going. I took the symbol, that was right there, and worked the 10 stitches that symbol had. Then I just moved on to the next symbol, and I still worked left to right in that diagonal. But then when I got down to a row where I had a ninja stitch over here that wasn't done, I just went to the row that I was on and did the first undone symbol in that row, and then again just worked it kind of left to right in a diagonal fashion. But so you can kind of see I kind of feathered into this page. And you can see the way I was working, the direction I was working in, but like I said, more in a more randomish cross-country style. So I think a mixture of that diagonal and cross-country, because sometimes I like just taking a symbol and going. So I think a mixture of that is gonna, because like I said, I've been stitching only for 3 years. So I'm still playing with the way I do things, and I think I'm starting to settle into a mixture of a few things I've tried. And the last thing I have to show you is a new start. I gotta take this out, and I don't know, I don't have backing material. This might work. Because I got my linen for the Cryptid sale. And this is going to be my new attempt to work with linen. I got a 32 count vintage Blue Whisper Belfast linen from Zweigart. Got it off a 1-2-3 stitch. And I got started on the Cryptid sale a few days ago. Started working on the frame. Magnets are not good for computers. So let's see how this looks It's not too bad. It's not. Yeah, we're not shining through too much. If I put this white paper behind it, but that is where I am at on the frame for the Cryptid cell. I'm in plenty good position. The first Cryptid is gonna. I've seen her say in the group is gonna be up in this corner. So she says, as long as you have this corner done, you'll be in fine position to place the first Cryptid. So I'm going to keep working on it and get as much of the frame done as I can before the first Cryptid comes out. But yeah, I'm over 1,000 stitches into that already. So, and I'm really enjoying working on it. I'm having a much better experience with the linen this time, doing it 2/2 on a non-full coverage piece. Yeah, I actually really enjoyed a stitch on this, actually. So I'm having a much, much better experience with the linen this time. And I will redo this when I'm done filming. But I'm excited to get further on this and see what the first Cryptid's going to look like. I'm really hoping to keep up with this Sal. Since the releases are every week, I'm thinking, and there's like 4 cryptids in a sectional area, and the way it's sectioned off, I'm thinking that they're going to be small enough that they could be week-long stitches, or less than they could not take a lot of time to stitch up each cryptid. So I'm hoping that's the case, and I can stay on top of this Sal. And it ends in January, so it could end up being my first. It could end up being my. Well, I'm not gonna say my first finish. I did have a finish of a smaller piece a couple years ago, my IT crowd piece, which I did show second or third Flosstube video, maybe fourth one. I don't remember, but it'll be my first larger finish. So yeah, and that's why I only got a little bit into the Universal Monster Cell, because it's a lot of black, and I was kind of, right now what I'm doing is putting a few strands into the frame and then working on something else for a little bit, and then putting a few more strands into the frame and then working on something else for a bit. So that is the cross stitch. That's all I have to show. I don't have any haul or anything. That was my haul, that piece of linen. So I'm going to move on to some other content. If you're not interested in hearing about some of the, I'll show you a book I've been reading, and then I'm going to move on to some movie stuff. So if you're not interested in that, then I thank you for stopping by, and I hope to see you next time. And if this is your first Flosstube of mine, I hope you enjoy. I hope you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, all those things that help with the algorithm, and help more people see me. But for those who are interested, let's go into some other stuff. What I've been reading is The China Room by Sanjeev Sahota, and this is a dual timeline historical novel. I am almost done. I'm in finishing position on this, and it's been like 2 weeks that I've been in this position. It would take me about an hour and a half to finish this, and I just haven't done it. I'm not going to say I've been in a reading slump, because it's not that I haven't felt like I've just been choosing to stitch. I've just been choosing to spend my time doing something else I enjoy. But this is one timeline is about a young woman, actually 15-year-old girl in Punjab who gets married off, an arranged marriage, to one of 3 husband. She doesn't know which of these three brothers married three women all on the same day. None of the women know who they're married to. None of them know which one is their husband. And the mother-in-law will, tap them on the shoulder one night, on a given night, and which is theirs, and tell them that it's kind of their night to go into this darkened shed with a mattress in it, and that is then their husband comes into the room, but it's all dark, they can't see him, and they make the attempts to bear a son. But again, it's all dark in the room. They don't get to know which one is their husband. And the three wives basically sleep and do kind of live out of this china room in the house. And then the other timeline is of a young man in modern day who is a recovering addict, and he is recovering on his uncle's farm property, and he has discovered a china room on that property. That's as much as I want to say, because obviously there's going to be some interconnectivity to the timelines, and there is, but I don't want to say what that is. And I haven't fully found out all of it myself yet, because like I said, I'm not too far from the end. I'm probably like 40 pages. What am I on? I'm on 176, and it's 243 pages. So yeah, roughly, less than 70 pages. Seriously, it would take me an hour and a half to finish this. So that's what I'll be reading when I kind of feel like reading. I'll finally finish that out, hopefully this week. But some movie stuff. Now, I got something I want to do. I haven't talked about a lot of the movies I've watched this year because, like I said, I haven't gotten the movie stuff really off the ground. But I saw Shannon over at Planet Shannon TV. She recently did a video where she realized she hadn't talked about some movies in a while, and she does. She talks about movies, television, books. She's a Canadian Canadian booktuber, but like I'm saying, she talks about movies and movies and television too. She'll do these videos where she'll do kind of Netflix roulette, where she'll just randomly pick a Netflix movie and watch it and then review it after she's done watching it. But she hadn't talked about movies in a while, so what she did is she put 25 movies that she had seen recently in the Tiny Decisions app, and spun the wheel and talked about the movie that came up on the wheel, and she did like 5 of them, and she's going to do 5 videos until she's done with those 25. So I thought I thought it was really cool, and in a good way to maybe get through talking about some of the movies I've seen this year. So what I did is I put most of what I've seen into the Tiny Decisions app. I left out some of the more niche, some of the shorts and some of the more niche art house-y stuff that not a lot of people, not everybody's going to be into. But it still ended me with like 45 in the wheel. So obviously I'm not going to do 45 today. I'm going to do, we'll see how time plays out, maybe 4 or 5. But we're going to spin the wheel, and I'm going to talk about the movie that pops up. So let's play. And Mary and Max. Okay, I watched this one recently. This is an stop motion animated movie. I'm going to pull up my Letterboxd so I can tell you, because I like to tell directors and stuff. But this is about a little girl who doesn't have a lot of friends, any really, and she kind of picks a name out of a phone book and decides to write a letter to the person whose name comes up, whose name she picks. And then she becomes pen pals with this guy called, the little girl's name is Mary, and she becomes pen pals with a man named Max, who himself is a lonesome guy, middle-aged man, and they keep up this correspondence. Actually, she also lives in Melbourne, and so she picks a name out of a Manhattan phone book. So she's got this pen pal in Manhattan, and there's not a lot of color to. It's very drab, color-wise, but it's a really interesting adult animated movie about the relationship these two develop over a 20-year correspondence. It speaks a lot about depression and mental health, and just it was really. Philip Seymour Hoffman voiced Max, and Toni Collette voiced Mary. Just really great animated stop motion animated feature. The director of it is Adam Elliott. It's available on Criterion Channel right now if anybody has that. So that is Mary Max. I highly recommend that one. But like I said, trigger warnings for mental health and depression. And I would even say trigger warnings for suicide. Because there are definitely those thoughts in there. So, next. Palm Springs. Now, I've got this set to not do repeats, so hopefully that won't happen. Palm Springs, I watched. A lot of you probably don't know this because not a lot of people saw the videos where I talked about this. But I, last year, was a member of Film Independent. And as a member of Film Independent, I got to vote in the Film Independent Spirit Awards. So in March or April, I had a bunch of movies I needed to watch to vote on for the. Now, I didn't get them all watched, so I only voted in the categories where I got all the movies watched. But I did get this one watched, even though I didn't end up voting in that category because I didn't get them all watched. So Palm Springs is a Hulu original feature. It stars Andy Samberg and is it Michelle? The girl who played the mom on How I Met Your Mother. She played the woman who ended up playing the mother. Kristen Milioti. And J.K. Simmons is in it. Peter Gallagher's in it. This is a Groundhog Day style movie where Andy Samberg is living the same day over and over again. Kristen Milioti's character gets pulled into that. So it's the two of them living the same day over and over. I originally wasn't that excited about this movie. I kind of thought it was going to be a little stupid. But I watched it because it was nominated for Best Original Screenplay at the Spirit Awards. And it really surprised me. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to. It was clever. There was a kind of weird sci-fi reason why they were living the same day over and over again. And the humor wasn't stupid. It wasn't just stupid college humor, which can be great if you're in the mood for it. But I'm in the mood for it less in my 40s than I was in my 20s. But yeah, I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would, and I would definitely recommend watching it. And I didn't think I was going to come out of that saying that. So yeah, check out Palm Springs on Hulu. It's a Hulu original, so it's available on Hulu. Next. Diary of a Chambermaid. Oh, I didn't say the director of Palm Springs was Max Barbacow. Diary of a Chambermaid is a French film. It was a Mubi.com movie of the day. It is directed by Louis Buñuel from 1964. And it is about, it ends up being about two things. This one's weird. So a new chambermaid comes to help out a woman with her father. Along the line, the father is a little bit not there. And then once he has passed, she's about to leave, but then there is a young girl who is raped and murdered, and she thinks she knows who did it, so she stays to try and catch who she thinks raped and murdered the young girl. It was good. It was interesting. I gave it like 3.5 stars. I actually think I would knock that down now, thinking about it, to just 3, because it really felt like 2 movies squashed into one. There was a definite delineation between one story to the next story. So it kind of almost felt like 2 short stories featuring the same characters mushed into one movie. But it was my first, I think, because I watched, 3. This was the first Louis Buñuel. And they'll come up. Directed Discreet Charm and the Bourgeoisie. And there's another one that's going to end up coming up on here, I think. Yeah, I put Discreet Charm and the Bourgeoisie on here. I don't know if I put the other one on here. I'm not sure. We'll see if it comes up. Hi. But yeah, it was enjoyable, but it really felt like it could have been 2 short features. That was 3, right? Yeah. The Killing of Two Lovers. This is another one I watched for Spirit Awards voting, and then I didn't end up getting to vote in that category. It was one of the main categories I wanted to vote in, the John Cassavetes Award, and it is for movies made for, I forget what the number is, but it's movies, low-budget movies made for under a certain amount of money, low-budget independent movies. And it was nominated in that category. And then we didn't end up getting to vote in that category. I don't know. I think because the way it works is we get access to screeners of the movies, and Killing of Two Lovers was the only movie nominated for the Cassavetes Award that gave access to a screener. I think. I remember eventually it wasn't on the original list that was going to be given a screener, but I know not all of them ended up with screeners available, but the other 4 were available on streaming services, so I still got to watch all 5. But anyway, this is about a man who is separated from his wife. The movie opens with him holding a gun to her and her new lover while they are asleep in bed. So that's how the movie opens. And then it moves from there. He leaves. It's not a spoiler because it's right in the beginning of the movie. He ends up crawling out the window and he leaves and goes home. But it's about him trying to get things back going with her, but really she's saying that she wants to, but he's seeing more and more that she's moving on from him, and what that's doing to him emotionally and mentally, and his relationship with their 3 kids. And he lives at his father's house just a couple of blocks away now, and it's a really it plays with sound in very interesting ways, to really help you feel what is going on in his head. So it was a very interesting play of sound. I need to pull up the director for you. I don't know. This is not available yet, but it's definitely worth watching once. Robert McCoyan is the director. It looks like you can rent it off of YouTube. So yeah, it's really it's about him trying to come to terms with life moving on. The ending is a little weird. I'm still not sure what to make of the ending of this movie now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, I definitely recommend giving it a watch. So let's do one more. That'll be 5, and then I'll have 40 left. Stray Dogs. This is an Akira Kurosawa. Sorry, I need to fix that. Akira Kurosawa. Japanese. I said Japanese. I started typing Stray Japanese. Japanese feature. Where is it? I will go to my list of movies that I've watched, and it'll be there. There it is. Yeah, Akira Kurosawa. This is from 1949. It is about a young detective whose gun gets stolen from him by a pickpocket, and then killings start happening, and those killings are being done by the person who stole his gun. It turns out the forensics match his gun for the killings. So it's about him and a more senior detective trying to catch this killer who is killing people with his stolen gun. Really good. I really enjoyed it. It's featured on the Criterion Channel as part of a Japanese noir collection. It really does. It really has that noir feel to it. Definitely recommend watching it if you're into older Japanese movies, or if you have any interest in international film at all, or like Akira Kurosawa is most known for The Seven Samurai and his other samurai type movies, and this was his first film starring Toshiro Mifune, who ended up starring in a lot of those movies. They made a ton of movies together after this, so this was their first time working together. Yeah, it's streaming wise, it's only available on the Criterion Channel right now, and this says Amazon disc. Letterboxd has Just Watch attached to it, so it'll tell you where its movies are streaming or if you can only buy them. Yeah, that's that's not a playable physical copy in the States. So yeah, I maybe should have looked at that a little bit closer when I was picking these. But if you ever get the chance to watch Stray Dogs by Akira Kurosawa, check it out. I know a lot of people don't like having to read subtitles while they're watching films, but trust me, you miss out on if you're one of those people that avoids film because of subtitles. I implore you to give them a try, because you're missing out on some really great cinema. That's where I've been at, film wise, is more art house and international film, because there's some great stuff, just great film happening outside of the United States and in other languages. Parasite was a great example of that. It's Oscar win for Best International Feature and Best Picture. It's something Life is Beautiful in the 90s could have done and should have done. I enjoyed Parasite. I watched last year, so it's not going to pop up on here. I enjoyed Parasite. I didn't think it lived up to the hype. I had some issues with it structurally, but it was beautifully shot, and I totally understand why Bong Joon-ho won Best Director. I get why it was nominated for Best Picture, and it probably was the Best Picture out of however many were nominated that year, but I didn't see them all either. But it got its hype up so much that it was like here, the hype and my expectation for it when I watched it, and that's never a good thing, because I end up about here. So, but yeah, check out, be open to international film, because you're going to hear about them from me, definitely. So yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoy. For those who stuck around, I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to be doing this in like at least probably 8 more videos, but I think I kind of like that. And as I see more movies, I'm gonna take the ones I just talked about off the wheel, and then I'm gonna add more that I talk about, that I do watch, onto it, I think. So let me know if you liked that. Yeah. So, and I'm just flailing now. So if you stuck around for this, thank you. I absolutely appreciate it. Let me know in the comments if you liked this portion of the video, if you liked this wheel spin of random movie, mini movie reviews. What movies have you seen that you've really liked lately or this year? Some of them may end up popping up on here, because like I said, I voted in a film award this year. And let me know, do you like international film? What international film, and if you do, what international films do you like? I'm always looking for stuff to check out. So that's it for this one. Thank you to all my subscribers. I appreciate all of you. I especially appreciate this Flosstube community. You've been really supportive of me, and when I want to try new things like this, you're like, yeah, go for it. I like movies, I like books. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy this new thing I'm doing with the videos. If you did, hit that like button, drop me a comment, hit subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one.